What's up guys, Shane here, Fugatech 3D Printing, and today we're checking out the Tevo Tornado. Welcome back guys. So we have another great big printer here to check out. This is the Tevo Tornado. This is Tevo's answer to the Creality CR10. A lot of companies have adopted this large scale i3 style printer. And again, this is how Tevo decided to do it. And I'm really curious to see how it is. But we have a big printer, we need a big knife to get in. So a little backstory on this. Tevo reaches out every now and then to new people and see if they want to review their products. They go to some of the same old people they have been using, and they reach out to new ones once channels get above 5,000 subscribers. There was several times that they reached out to me earlier, found out I was a small channel, and decided to say no. You know, to each their own. If they want to, that's fine. But now they finally reached out and said that they wanted to work with me, and this is the first printer they decided to send. They did want to send the Tevo Tarantula, but there are like 1,000 videos out there. Even the Tornado, there's a lot of videos out there, but this is like the newer one they have. They do have the Michelangelo now, but we'll see if we can get one of those after we check this out. But again, this is Tevo's answer to the Creality CR10. They took a lot of things that Creality did and made it better, from what I'm told. They added the MOSFET in there. It's 24 volts from what I hear. The heated bed's supposed to work out faster. So we're just gonna open this up, see what the parts are, get it together, check it out, and see if we can get it printing today. It's an interesting change. It's a black foam instead of the white foam that every other printer that I've received comes in. And here we have one of their build plates. So this is the, or I should say this build surface. This is like their build tack type surface. Feels kind of like build tack. It's got holes there so you can actually get to your mounting screws, and it has a 3M 9080A sticky on it. Next up here we have the Tevo Tornado Assembly Manual, and it gives you a couple QR codes that go to the Facebook group, installation video, and Israeli Facebook group, Black Widow installation video, Black Widow Facebook group. So there's a lot of stuff on there. And then we have all the random cutouts for the printer and all of its little goodies in there. So we'll start plucking away at this. It's a very interesting way that they have put this in here. Okay. We have an accessory pocket. Here we have the giant bed springs and screws for that. Then we have the T-plate and the Z sensor, so exactly the same as Tevo has there. Bowden tube, a US power plug, another T-plate for the other side. Out here the Allen wrenches, and yeah, all the Allen wrenches, screwdriver in there. And here we have zip ties. We have a extra thermistor. Ooh, that's nice. A full-size 8 gig SD card and a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. A putty knife, which is crooked. So super cheap. It's split. Unfinished wood. It's not even really sanded, so that's pretty chintzy. A USB cable, and that's it for that pocket. Okay, here we have the control box. We can see the control box is quite a bit smaller than what it is on the CR10. It's not quite as small, or just about the same size, I guess, as the AlphaWise U10, which I recently looked at. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's using a different display on it as well, and it has this tubing going over the wires instead of the compression sleeve that you see on like computers and things like that. And all right, now we can get out the Z gantry. Okay. All right, so there that is. All right, here's the Z gantry, and it's got the, the same Canon plug style. I only know that's the military name. I don't know what the commercial name for these type of plugs are, which is quite long. Yeah, oh, some other goodies on there. We'll check that out in a second here. And here we have the Y. Okay, that's everything out of the box. We can set this down out of the way now. There's some foam sandwiched in there. Interesting. So the bed is actually just using twist ties to keep it mounted to the carriage, the Y carriage here, this big green plate, that's the Y carriage. They're using metal brackets. I mean, this is super duper similar to the CR10. They've remilled a few things differently. And here on the bed is a gigantic test print with a green build plate. I've only seen the red. I don't think I've seen the green anywhere. I have to go back and look at other videos. Some people complain this was hard to get off. So before I go anywhere, I want to see how hard this is to get off with just my hands. And as of right now, it is cake. Some parts are stuck down a little harder than others. So it's going to need a little bit of convincing. I feel like the middle of the plate is stuck on there pretty good. Most of it off in one quick jaunt there. Let's try out their horrible putty knife here. Nope, that thing sucks. I go to my trusty one, and this takes it right off without anything at all. A few seconds later, it's clean. This is my favorite removal tool. It's very safe, well, safer. It's still a little sharp because it's so thin, but it is less dangerous than these sharp points on these suckers. So I'll put a link below for these because you guys are gonna love that. Okay, so let's get out the manual. Might as well go off the manual and see what it says we need to do here. All right, so here in the manual, the very first thing they have is read me first. It talks about hazards and warnings, electroshock hazard, burn hazard, fire hazard, pinch hazard, static charge, and age warning. For users under the age of 18, adult supervision is recommended. Beware of choking hazards around children. I'm surprised that they have all of that. A lot of them don't have it. All right, so here it tells us how to connect. Yep, it's gonna be the same as the CR10 was. So there are 2 bolts that go here into the Y, will come up on each side, which go into the bottom of the gantry. And that's what holds that in. And then on each side gets a T plate, and then the one side also gets the ZN switch plate, which is slightly adjustable. It has elongated holes in it to make that happen. And then here it talks to you about all the electrical equipment, how it plugs in. So the 2 Canon plugs. So this one here is a 4-pin. The other one is looks like 8 or 9 pin in the other one, which runs the hot end, the fan, the heater, the thermistor. All that is all inside that one bundle. Tells you to connect the PTFE tubing, which it already is, but just make sure it's already in there all the way, extended down. How to fine tune, so how to tension the belts, how to tension the plate. So if your bed wobbles, which this one does, I know it's not connected, I'm grabbing the bottom. It does wobble a little bit. There are eccentric nuts on the wheels underneath of this. You're gonna wanna tighten those eccentric nuts just a little bit to make the wheels hug this center 2040 rail. And that way there's no wiggle, but it still moves nice and smoothly. There you have to find the balance between the 2, but it's generally not very hard to do. It tells you how to adjust the other belts and whatnot. Adjust the tension on the Titan extruder, which is something we're going to look at here. I like that one. Then it tells you how to level the bed. Tevo after sale, so replacement parts, carrier loss, missing, damaged, defective parts, all of that. And general support, there is the Facebook group. So it's the one thing that Tevo relies heavily on, and I would say in reality, all the new companies now, especially the Chinese companies, they rely super heavily on the Facebook groups for support, not an actual support based like call center or email center or anything like that. Unless you have something broken, you're not really going to get in touch with any of these companies. So kind of just something to be aware of. It's not a Tevo only deal. It's all the Chinese printers deals all do the exact same thing. Okay, well, we're gonna get the bed here installed with the screws and the springs. It's easier to do without the gantry on here. Once I have that, I'll go ahead and install the gantry on, and then we can level the bed, make sure all the connections are nice and solid, and go from there. And I do wanna take a look at what this glass plate is, because it is very thick and has a texture on the bottom, and I want to check that out. So, I'm gonna run through all that. We'll be right back. Okay, so here's the piece of foam under the bed. All right, so the bed is a silicone heat pad. I don't know if it's 12 volt or if it's mains, but also has a very thick piece of insulation foam with a aluminum tape backing on it, which helps reflect the heat back into it. And this plate, it's not glass at all. It's some type of polycarbonate base, some type of plastic. some type of polycarbonate, acrylic type. I don't know exactly what that's made of. It's definitely not glass. Yeah, it's definitely not glass. I don't know what in the world that is, but it's interesting. But so you can see here that these mounting holes go through this base, whatever this stuff is. They don't mount underneath. They're not a flush mount. There's no glass that goes on top of this at all. It goes straight onto this, which has the heated pad adhered to it. And it looks like to be, it's pretty good glue stick on there. So, all right, well now we can just break out the gigantic screws. I cannot get over how big these screws and the springs are on this. They're way, way more upgraded than anything that's coming on the Creality printers, I can say that. And they just slide around like so, and they stick out the top. That's gonna be super duper weird to work with, but it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and install the gantry on here. So back of the printer, the extruder faces the back, and the motor faces the back. Do your best to line these up, and then pull a corner of the printer off of the desk so that you can try and get the screws up underneath under here and into the threaded holes of the 2040. Now I'll do the other side. Okay, those are both in. Now we'll do the T-plates real quick. I need a different Allen head for this. This one here, yep. One side done. Now we're gonna flip over here to do the other side. It's hard to let you guys see this, but if you're following instructions, you'll know what I'm doing. It's really not that difficult here. A couple pieces. All right, so the difference on this T-plate is we have 2 long and 2 shorter T-nuts. Shorter ones are gonna go down on the bottom. So it's gonna be installed like so, which means this needs to go installed like so. So the switch is gonna be towards the inside of the frame so it can interact with the X carriage, pretty much. X and Z carriage is all combined in one. So note, don't over tighten the top 2, the vertical 2 on this one, because they're going into acrylic. Acrylic will crack very easily. All right, so there we are. I left it, I guess, roughly in the middle. We can always adjust it here later. But now we're gonna go ahead and hook up all the cables and power this up and see how it turns on. So the control box, and just like all of the pretty much modern printers out there nowadays, everything is labeled. These have giant labels on them. Okay, that's all of that. Oh, interesting, okay. You do not have the option to set the printer to a voltage. I wonder what the voltage is set to right now. It says to a 220 or 110. Is it auto sensing? I do wonder. I don't want to test it because I don't want to fry it. So we will put this into 110 for now. I wonder if it's 110 because they sent me the US plug version. That generally doesn't matter. Okay, so 110 power. Survey says. Nothing. All right. I'll try 220. That did not sound good. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this apart and see what in the world is the deal now. Could be why, but I'm pretty sure I fried this because it was set to 110. And the reason why it wasn't working is because the LCD is not hooked up. This cable's not attached. Hence why the LCD didn't turn on. I'll try this again, but I'm pretty sure power supply's dead now. Plugged in. Yeah, so power supply has stuff coming in. Oh, look at that. Wait, is it still good? Hey, it's still good. All right. We are still in business. All right, well, that's coming up. Let's get out the SD card here. Put this in. inserted, print from USD. There's an XYZ test, a Tevo test, test 2020, a spool holder. Oh! There's no spool holder with this. I'm just now realizing that. That is goofy as all get out. Alright, well let's at least try to prepare. Let's do auto home. That works. Y works. Z works, even though it's smashing in. The bed is way too high. Yeah, I'm gonna level the bed here and then see if we can't do one of the test prints. I'll figure out, I think I have an extra spool holder sitting over here. And I'll find some filament somewhere to try this out with. There is no filament that comes with the printer, which is an oddity these current days, where pretty much everything is coming with a roll or some type of filament. Again, the no spool holder thing is kind of trippy as well. I wasn't aware of that. And I don't even know where that attaches. I'm guessing up here. And I don't even know where it's going to screw to or what it is. I might Google it and see what it looks like before I even print it, because there's not even any hardware to screw it to anything. I don't know. Let me level the bed, get some filament, we'll go from there. Okay, so while leveling the bed, remember I said the bed was loose. It's no longer loose, the whole bed shakes, but this extruder is super duper loose. So on the extruders, they also have the eccentric nut. It depends where they are in different printers. This one is on the bottom. There are 2 rollers on top, 1 roller on the bottom, and that bottom one has the eccentric nut, so you just put your wrench on there, twist it, try some more, twist it, try to wiggle it, twist it, try to wiggle it, twist it back. So it's still rolling smoothly, but the wiggle is gone. Now the carriage that this moves, but this entire carriage no longer wiggles, so that is good. That is not wiggling up there at all. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and rehome. Prepare auto home, and we'll do the disable steppers once it's done here. Now I can level it one more time, and it should be enough to get a test print going. So it's probably level enough to do a test print. I do have this Anycubic spool holder here that I don't like, but it serves a purpose for this here. So we're going to go ahead and load the filament here into their Titan extruder. Okay, so we'll go ahead and try. So do auto home, main, print from SD. We'll do the XYZ test, why not? 80, whoa. 80 it wants to go, holy smoke and joes. All right, well, let's see what happens with this and see if it actually can print. All right, so the Tevo test is the exact same one that came on the build plate when I got it. So I was able to do some live adjusting to get it a little bit more level. I was a little bit close here on some of these parts, so I have to work on scraping this all off now. But this stuff, it sticks. Like, you need to keep yourself have yourself a high offset here from the bed, because it sticks like it's nobody's business, and it's so hot for this PLA. It just wants to just get real stringy when pulling it off, kind of like bubble gum. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge to get off. I'll be back in a second. So I know it's hard to tell because I picked obviously the most amazing color to print on a green print mat, but this is their test that came on the bed, printed in this white. I now printed it on this crazy yellow here, and everything is cooled to an extent. Now the key is with this, it's kind of like with build tack, is to keep your layers a little far from the bed, because this stuff sticks like none other, just like build tack. Build tack even tells you how to bring it up a little bit higher. I am not going to get this off in one go though, I don't think, because I am a little too close. I think the bed is bowed just ever so slightly in the middle. Hopefully the sound is not too terribly annoying. Well, I got a great portion of it off. Not too bad. The center definitely is bowed a little bit. It's definitely a little bit higher. Maybe we'll try to figure out some way to change that up because the corners are down a little bit hard. We need to pull the Z up a little bit more, or I should say lower the Z a little bit more, and see if that helps at all. The Z end stop I'm talking about. But yeah, so all right, let me do one more test here. I'm just gonna make, I guess, a simple benchy test that I've been doing with the other printers, just to kind of see how it does with the cooling. Obviously, it can print and it works. We'll go from there, and I'll be back in just a second. So print is done, and everything is cool. Pops right off. And the quality's not half bad. So one issue I had heard about people talk about this printer is that it has like a salmon skin and the TL smoothers would help out with it. I don't really see any in the body, but I do see some odd artifacts up here in the cabin part of the little benchy. Now this is just 100% scale benchy. There's no real ghosting in it, so that's nice to see. Now this is with the stock Tevo Tornado profile in Simplify 3D. I just went, added the printer, chose it from the drop down list, changed up my support settings, which doesn't have support, changed it to the fast honeycomb for infill instead of rectilinear. And that was it. I left the bed the same. The hot end temperature was 210, bed was 60. It does a prime right here on the front, which is nice, a little prime streak. That way you get the nozzle going. And that's it. So far it's all right. Definitely a little too far away from the bed on that first layer though. I think there's something weird with this bed. I don't know why it keeps not staying level, even though everything's locked down pretty tight. But I just did that print and I started this one, it was too far away from the bed. I'm not sure what the problem is there. I'll have to do a little more digging, more testing, but again, this is just the unboxing and seeing if it does print. It does. Quality is pretty decent, but I'm sure there's room for improvement. I'll take a look online and see what people say about this odd bed. Again, this has this weird kind of polycarbonate type of bed. It's not, doesn't feel like glass, and it's definitely not metal. I don't know what it is. I would be very interested if someone knows what the bed is actually made out of. Please let me know down in the comments so I can be a little more educated on it. So that's gonna be it, guys, for this unboxing kind of first look and first print off of the Tevo Tornado. Again, this was sent to me by Tevo directly, and no money was exchanged. Didn't give any money. I didn't get any extra bennies for customs because we don't pay customs in America, so we don't have to waive anything like that. And I just get to keep the printer if I do a video on it. So hey, here's one. I'll be doing a lot more on this printer, a lot more testing with it and things like that. But this is kind of just the first look at it. If you guys want to pick one of these up, I've heard more great things about it. Again, so far it prints well for me. I'll put a bunch of links down below if you guys want to purchase from wherever makes sense to you, or just use my links and buy from one of those places. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Talk in the comments down below. I appreciate your thoughts here on these kind of first look unboxing videos that I do with all these different printers. If you guys want to keep in touch with what's going on, make sure you become a subscriber. There's a button right down here. And after you hit that, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get an email notification anytime I upload new content. That way you'll be one of the first ones to know when new content hits the street. If you guys want to support me financially on a monthly basis, down below is a Patreon link. If you want to do it as a one-time deal, there's a couple links down below in the description that you can donate to me via Streamlabs or buy me a coffee. Or if you guys want to just help out the channel by using my affiliate links, down below there's a whole list of them. Update your bookmarks with those. Do your daily shopping. I greatly appreciate it because a little slice of what you buy comes back here to me at no cost to you. So I appreciate you guys watching and everything you guys do for me. So until next time, happy printing.